With the Expedition out of the way and Security Breach being absolutely nerfed into the ground, I have removed my previous video about my skill tree and have since updated it. Hi, my name is NoFace. Let's talk about it. And a major shout out to Doomerist creating a video showing each individual skill, what exactly it does, and showing a point-by-point breakdown to show you how bad or how good the skill actually is. Starting off with the mobility tree, the bottom left-hand side is still some of the most important skills that you should be getting, and they should be the first skills that you are getting. Towards the top, I've removed Heroic Leap. Do not get this skill whatsoever. The difference in the sprint dodge roll is negligible. Do not get it. Refer to Doomerist's video, please. I've changed the points into Effortless Dodge. This is a case where Embark doesn't do a great job in explaining things. Sometimes they're too specific, sometimes they're too general, and in this case, they're general. It says that it affects dodge rolls. What it doesn't say is that it also affects sprint dodge rolls, so it's a huge difference. With the extra points, I've also put points into Crawl Before You Walk. You move incredibly fast when this is maxed out while you are knocked, and I put 1 point into Vigor's Vaulter. You're able to vault while exhausted at the same speed. Now, for some of you that have seen the previous video, I have mentioned that I did not put points into Crawl Before You Walk or the Turtle perk or the Down But Determined perk. Why? Because it is stuff while you're knocked and I don't expect to be knocked. What I didn't say is that it's not a bad skill to have. It's just I didn't have enough points available, and with Security Breach being absolutely busted in the worst way possible, I've now been able to free up those points and put them into these secondary skills essentially. And to talk about Security Breach briefly, it has always been a crutch skill to get, and it was too costly for what it was. Yes, I realize hindsight is 2020, and yes, I realize I'm also part of the problem. However, now with more time in the game, I've realized that even if the skill was not nerfed, it would not have been a good idea to get that skill, because I could just go ahead and PvP. I could just go ahead and farm other locations that also give the same items that Security Breach lockers give you, because people are starting to realize that there are other locations in these maps that gives you significant amount of materials that you need, and it's not always the pink items that you need a lot of. You need a lot of the blue items, like for example, advanced electrical components, advanced mechanical components, processors, sensors, duct tape, Great Mulane, however that's pronounced. It's not so much the pink items you want, it's the materials that they are made up of. Now, the difference between the survival skill trees, besides the removal of Security Breach, are two things. One is removal of 3 Deep Breaths, and by extension, Stubborn Mule, and also changing the points of Revitalizing Squat. Now, the reason why I removed 3 Deep Breaths is because I misunderstood how it worked. What I thought it was for was if you roll, it consumes stamina, you wait, and then it starts to increase again. It is not for that particular wait time. It is for when the stamina is completely drained and flashing. When you put 5 points into this skill, it reduces the flash wait time by 1.5 seconds. Not worth it. That is 6 points wasted that I could have put somewhere else. Revitalizing Squat, same thing. I thought it did something that it didn't do. It does not affect the stamina regen while you're crouch walking, only when you're crouch sitting still. And I don't know about you, but I never noticed the difference between stamina regen while you're crouched sitting still versus standing. When you have it maxed out, it will match the two together. But again, it's so negligible that I don't even bother. So what I did here was I took the bare minimum 15 points I needed to get through the tree, and therefore I changed it to 2 points into Silent Scavenger. Now let's start talking about the audio differences in this game for Silent Scavenger versus Gentle Pressure. I was a huge fan of the idea of Gentle Pressure, but again, it's another misunderstanding of how I thought it worked. So how I thought it worked is, let's say you have a sphere just like you have on the screen right now. You are the black dot in the center, and the black outline is the max range, let's say 75 meters, of which someone will be able to hear you. This is the max transmittable distance. What I thought would happen is if you put points into these skills, this size would reduce from the black outline to the blue outline. What does this mean? This would mean that if you are running past a building and someone is breaching, if they were to max out those skills, you wouldn't hear them breaching. That's not the case. It is just an overall reduction. It's like going into Spotify and reducing the volume from 100% to 50%. It's like that. When it comes to breaching, that's useless because you should know in the map where all the breachable objects are. So as soon as you hear them, you just start running towards that location. They are static locations. When it comes to Silent Scavenger, though, these are dynamic locations. Dead bodies could be anywhere within this 75-meter size sphere, and it's going to help you stay alive because let's say there's a third, fourth, fifth party. They're engaged with each other. They're not going to hear you as well as you're rummaging through the body trying to get meds, so this way you can prep for this fight or get the hell out of there. So Silent Scavenger will help you in those situations where you got to be quiet just for a little bit and reposition. Now, to talk about the differences in the conditioning skill tree, I've basically removed all the points in Gentle Pressure and gone up the left side of the conditioning skill tree. 5 points into fight or flight. PvE scenario, you're running from a rocketeer, you got no stamina whatsoever, zero, zilch, nada. You get hit by a rocket, a single rocket, you now get the amount of stamina back needed for a sprint dodge roll. And because of carry the momentum from ability skill tree, you are now able to continue to sprint away. PvP situation, let's say you're chasing across the roofs of Buried City, you're dodging, you're weaving, you're climbing, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing to chase down this team, and all of a sudden a third party comes out of nowhere, you get shot by an osprey, you now have a sprint dodge roll available to you, and then you can keep on running. This is very, very strong. If you're going to go for this though, only put either 0, which means you're not going up this side, 1 point, which means you're going through the skill, or 5 points. You need 5 points for you to get that free sprint dodge roll. Just keep that in mind. The next one up is Survivor Stamina. That's the next big perk. That's for when you're critically injured. You start to regain your stamina faster. I'm not too worried about this, but of course it is very useful to have. What's more important is Down But Determined and Turtle Crawl. These two skills are severely underrated. Down But Determined is very interesting because at 4 and 5, you actually get more value out of it. At 1, 2, and 3, you get 6 seconds. At 4 and 5, you get 8 seconds. That is a total of 34 seconds if you were to max this out. That means 34 seconds of time for your duo or trio to deal with whatever it is they need to deal with and then come over and res you. That's 34 extra seconds of time needed for you to crawl over to the extract and use the terminal and extract. That's kind of crazy. Unfortunately, I can only put 2 points into it because of the limitation of the points. 12 seconds is still a long time. The same goes for Turtle Crawl. Turtle Crawl, when you put 3 points into it, you can tank 11 Venator shots. That is a lot of damage, and again will give your duo or trio the time needed to deal with the team and res you. And that in conjunction with Down But Determined, after they're done shooting you, you're still going to have that extra time from that perk. So Down But Determined is really useful for PvE and PvP. Turtle Crawl is very useful for PvP. Highly recommend getting them. Now you're going to notice this uses the extra 5 skill points from the expedition. If you did not do the expedition or you're a new player or whatever, you're going to have to remove 5 points from this tree. I would recommend the following. Remove it from Vigorous Vaulter, Traveling Tinkerer, Crawl Before You Walk, Turtle Crawl, Down But Determined. Some combination thereof. It's really up to you to figure out how you want to deal with that. And that's it for the updated skill tree. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and post them below. I am more than willing to help you out. If you are nice. If you are not nice, you can check my other videos and see how I deal with those types of people. And for those of you that are saying that I am copying Peanut, get the nut off your chin, because I was doing this long before Peanut. I'll see you in the next one.